and welcome to another year of ICE TV. It is lovely to be doing this again, always lovely every single year, and every single year from every single guest I learn something new, which is a good thing. And I'm happy to say that I have heard indeed from some people, my family being amongst them, that we've actually converted some people into drinking some iced tea, which I think is a win all around. Now, I can't really say that it's much of iced tea season here at the moment. Weather is sort of all over the place. But I think that we need to start thinking about tea chilled as simply a thirst quencher and not necessarily something that we only do when the weather is hot. Something that our American counterparts south of the border have certainly embraced and certainly understand, but the rest of us tend to still think about iced tea as only a hot weather thing. So let's maybe start reframing that and thinking of it as a thirst quencher. So with that, I am very, very happy to introduce to you my first guest, who is always here for ICE TV, as well as entertaining with tea with some wonderful, wonderful ideas and recipes, and that is Stephen Twinings. Stephen Twinings is 10th generation of the famous tea family, yes, the Twining family, and has known that he wanted to become involved in the family business from the very young age of 8. He joined Twinings in 1985, and after 9 years in a variety of jobs in sales, Stephen transferred to head office in Andover, where he's currently a director of corporate relations, incorporating media relations and business visits to Asia, Australia, Europe, Scandinavia, the Middle East, as well as North and South America. And a big hello to you, Stephen. So nice to see you. How are you?
I'm very well. Good afternoon. Yes, lovely to be with you again.
I always love where you sit. I'm assuming it's your kitchen because I love that cabinet in the back of you. It is perfection.
Thank you. Yes, we're very proud of our English dresser. Some people would call them a Welsh dresser, but since we're in England, it's got to be an English dresser.
Oh, is that? I had no idea.
Yes.
I'll have to look that up.
Being slightly tongue-in-cheek here.
No, I got that. So is it is it summer yet in the UK? I know that you guys are all over the place right now as well, no?
Yeah, very similar to you. I think actually today you're 3 degrees warmer than we are, but the sun is shining and the garden's growing, which is lovely, and the birds are tweeting. So yeah, it's starting to feel more like summer. But I would absolutely echo your words. I think iced tea is such a lovely, natural, refreshing drink that you don't need the hottest day of the year. Oh, we'll have iced tea today. Why not? You can just leave it in the fridge. It's there when you want it. And so easy to make.
Exactly. And it's, as I said just a second ago, it's something that, our neighbors to the south, the Americans, they get it. I mean, for them, iced tea is king. The U.S. drinks the majority of their tea chilled, as you know. And it's a way to quench your thirst. It's not about anything else. We need to convince them that sometimes it's good to drink it hot as well. But,
absolutely.
So tell me, you are making 2 delicious versions of iced tea today. So I'm going to give the floor to you and take it away.
Thank you. Yeah. So the first one is a peach and orange herbal tea that we're going to make hot, chill down, add ice to, just to show how quick and easy it is to make a delicious iced tea. And you can pick the flavors that you like. I happen to love that as a flavor. And then another herbal, raspberry and lemon. A few more ingredients going into that, a little sweetener from a lovely natural honey, and I'll come on to the other ingredients as we get to. So the first thing to do is to get on with the brewing. I'm going to put 2 bags in each of my brewing vessels and add 230 milliliters, about 8 ounces of freshly boiled water. Only because my kettle makes a dreadful noise. I'm not actually going to boil it on air because that's purely a distraction. But literally it came to the boil just before we started our conversation. And yeah, it is literally as easy as making a cup of tea. All you need is some ice. on top for the peach and the orange. So that'll do for that one. I'm brewing it double strength because we're going to add ice to it, which will dilute it back, and that is going to be fine. So start me trusty timer, and off we go. So now I'm afraid we have to wait for 3 minutes.
Well, that's okay. So, so you've chosen for both of your teas, you've chosen herbal teas, so zero caffeine, right? Because there's no actual tea leaf in it. So I think that's always a great alternative for a sugary beverage for kids, right?
Absolutely. The fruit pieces in here have a natural sweetness to them. I am going to use a natural honey, just a tiny bit, with the raspberry and the lemon, just to give it that little bit of sweetness, because we're going to add something that's got a little bit more bitterness to it once it's ready to go. Yeah,
but I mean, key here is that you know, as parents, you can completely control what's going into it, because the product itself doesn't, right? So it's actually it's sugar with, or sweetener, whatever your sweetener of choice is. It's sweetener with tea, as opposed to, you know, the sugary drinks that you buy, which is sugar first and then whatever flavor afterwards, right?
Yeah, this is going to be a much lower calorific intake. The bags by themselves, if you brewed a single bag in your usual amount of water, would be less than 10 calories. So yes, we're really starting at a very, very small calorific intake base, and actually you also rightly point out, naturally caffeine free, so your kids are not going to be hyperactive, and it's refreshing for the adults as well. And so it's all about flavor. Pick the thing you want some pomegranate and whatever. Pick the flavor. So easy to do.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got so many different flavors of, and you've chosen, as I said, you know, herbal teas, but you have so many flavors of black teas and green teas. So, you know, somebody could very easily swap it out, and if they do want the caffeine, do those as well. Would you use the same method?
Yeah, very much so. Absolutely. It is so straightforward. There is no difficulty. It's no more difficult making a cup of iced tea than it is making or a glass of iced tea than a cup of tea. It's really that simple. And yeah, absolutely. If you want to enjoy that lovely citrus flavor of Earl Grey, or the slightly more citrusy character of Lady Grey, they make delicious iced teas. And you can always garnish them, adding more citrus flavors. I'm quite often put a slice of peach in this, which is terrific, just to bring out that little extra fruitiness. And yeah, you can have fun, be inventive. You could even put a bag of one flavor in with a bag of another and mix it up and do your own home blend, which
So I love that, and I don't think enough people do that. You know, it's you know, I mean, you companies, you spend so much time and energy to create these perfect flavor blends, but what people forget is that you can actually, you know, concoct your own little thing at home by mixing. So you're doing, for example, raspberry lemon, but you can mix that with the peach and orange, couldn't you?
Oh, easily, absolutely, yeah. And as you get more sophisticated in your blending techniques, you might decide, oh, it's two of the raspberry and lemon and one of the peach and orange, and keep experimenting. So yeah.
Now you're getting fancy.
Right, so into the raspberry and lemon is about half a teaspoonful of a lovely natural honey, all the way from Ontario. I picked it up there, having had a tasting of it. Obviously, it dissolves better when the liquid is hot than when you've cooled it down. And so this recipe I'm going to set aside because it now needs to cool. And I have one that I prepared earlier. But in the meantime, we're just going to add some ice into the peach and the orange. For me, it's about 6 or 7 lumps of ice, and the cooling of the ice will just get it back to temperature very quickly. So moving back to my raspberry and lemon, as I said, here is one I prepared earlier. And bearing in mind, this is double strength. So we're going to put in about half a glassful and then add to it some lovely homemade limeade. There are lots of recipes on the web. I went to the Savvy Chef, Savvy with 2 V's. Give full credit to the Savvy Chef for this recipe, but there are lots out there. And of course, you can buy limeade in your local retailer. Obviously, I cooled this one down overnight. Slice of lemon, and we are good to go.
Color. The color is gorgeous. It's one of the things that I love about fruit teas. It's this vibrancy that you get in the cup. It's delicious. Yeah.
So the limeade is working with the lemons, the tartness of the raspberries, but there's just enough honey in there just to take the edge off. So you get a little zestiness and
fantastic.
Dances on your tongue, but very refreshing, very cooling. And of course, when you serve it, you probably add a lump of ice just to keep it cool.
Perfect. Love it. Okay.
So in the meantime, my ice over here has melted nicely. The temperature has dropped dramatically. So we're ready to serve. Now, I'm often heard preaching that I love iced tea, but when you overload it with ice, and you're out in the garden on that really hot sunny day, the ice melts fairly quickly and it starts to dilute the flavor. I'm not a big fan of that. So what I did in preparation, I don't know if these will show up, but
I see it. Yeah.
This is the peach and orange that I put into my ice tray, froze it overnight, and yes, it'll cool the drink down. But as it does so, you're going to continue to enjoy that flavor right down to the last sip. So to me, it's a little bit of planning and preparation, but it is it's really worth the time.
It is 100% worth the time. And I have to say, if I had to pick one single tip to give people on making the best iced teas, it's exactly what you just did, and that's making ice cubes out of it. And I know that it takes pre-planning, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I usually recommend to people, if you've made a pot of tea and you haven't finished it, just pour it into your ice tray and pop it in the freezer and forget about it and use it for next time.
Yeah, and if once it's frozen, you can always bag it up and just leave it in the freezer, and so the ice tray is freed up for making more ice. Yeah, so easy. Exactly. That's a brilliant tip.
Yeah. So instead of dumping it down the drain, just make the tray, and as you say, just store it. So honestly, if I have to give that's my number one tip.
Yeah, it just makes the whole experience so much better.
Yeah. It's also pretty.
It is. Yeah.
You can't get away from pretty. I love that, Stephen. So delicious. Enjoy your iced tea. It's always lovely to see you, as always.
Likewise.
And enjoy, I hope, some sunshine.
Yes, and some more iced tea TV.
And more iced tea TV. We've got lots more coming up, and a lot more recipes, and I hope some fun ideas. But it's always great to see your delicious flavors and your delicious blends. Your teas are available on the supermarket shelf, as well as online. So anybody interested in any of these fabulous flavors, get out there and purchase. But most importantly, as you said, Stephen, experiment with it, right? Make it your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Own it and enjoy it. The most important thing at the end of the day, enjoy it.
Great. We've got, I have to call out Ron Sadler. Ron is watching right now. He's just in the chat, and he says hello to both of us. So hello back to you, Ron. I see you.
Good afternoon, Ron.
All right. It was good to see you, Stephen, as always. You take care. Thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure as always. Cheerio.
All right. Bye. Bye-bye. Okay. So for those of you that ask all the time, well, how do I make an iced tea? You just saw the two most simple and straightforward methods of making it, right? So method number one that Stephen used was as simple as brewing a hot tea, double strength, and that's really, really important. That extra strength is really important so that you still have some good flavors. So he brewed the tea, let it steep, and then he put the ice into it. So that's method number one if you want it immediately and you haven't planned ahead. The other way to chill things down really, really quickly is if you have a cocktail shaker, put some ice into your cocktail shaker, pour the hot tea over, and shake it up. The magic of a cocktail shakers will always perplex me at the speed at which things will cool down. So that's method number one. Method number two that he used was he brewed the tea and he put it into the fridge. All right. So it's really that simple. It's not a complicated method. It's not a complicated recipe. Sweeten it how you like. He used a limeade, and I mean, you know, anybody, for those of you that have been watching for a while, you know, lemon and lime, and you've stolen my heart forever because they're my absolute favorite flavors. Anything citrusy is going to appeal to me. But that's a method that I use a lot when I make iced teas. I would say actually I pretty much make all of my iced teas in that way by taking a juice of some sort and doing a 3/4, 1/4 mix with my tea and the juice. And I'll usually pick a juice that's going to complement the flavor of the tea that I'm brewing. And because I choose a juice, I usually then don't need to add any sweetener to it because juices usually have so much of their natural sweetness. So really that simple. Brew and pour ice into it and let it chill, number one. Or number two, brew it and put it in your refrigerator. And, you know, tip number three, which I said already, if you forget everything else, ice cubes are my absolute favorite. All right, so with that, let's move on to my next guest. My next guest is the delightfully wonderful Rona Tison. Rona is the tea ambassador and executive advisor at Ito-En North America, Japan's #1 green tea brand and the world's leading purveyor of premium and sustainably grown green tea and healthy beverages. Ito-En has received numerous awards to include recognition as one of 50 companies changing the world by Fortune for its commitment to sustainability and revitalization of tea farms. So, as always, I love chatting to this wonderful lady. Hi, Rona. How are you?
Hello, Miss Shabnam. How fun to see you.
It's always good to see you. How are you today? How's life in? Are you in New York right now?
Yes, I am in New York, and it's starting to get hot here, a little humid. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm so glad we're making iced tea.
Yeah.
Because, you know, summer is, I think, set to go. I think it's going to be a really hot summer. So I'm kind of excited to kind of introduce the little iced tea that we're going to be doing.
I've heard the same. I've heard it's going to be a super hot summer. Our weather, I mean, we've got very similar weather, Toronto and New York, but it's been, I mean, it's sticky and weird. And I think the sun is trying to come out right now. So, you know what? You can't control the weather. So you take what you can, and we just make life happier with delicious tea.
Right. There are great. And I loved hearing you're talking earlier about the little magic of the little shaker and, you know, the importance of ice. And so I'm excited today because I've got the 3 greens going on today.
Okay.
Of course, Ito-En, you know, we do matcha. So I've got the matcha. We're going to have an unsweetened matcha.
Okay.
We're going to do lime.
Okay.
Mint. So 3 greens. Oh. Mint, lime, matcha. So we're going to do a matcha mint lime cooler, and it is incredibly refreshing.
Love it.
You know, mint, I mean, I think in the summer it's so soothing and invigorating. And of course, what I love about this is like the threefold. You've got the benefits of the matcha, which of course we have the EGCG, the vitamin C, fiber, and of course the L-theanine, which gives you that kind of calming, it gives you that energy boost, but the calming effect. And then of course, mint also has, you know, some benefits there. It helps with digestion. It kind of also helps with boosting immunity. And of course, we know lime. You were talking about citrus earlier. I love lime. I always have a bowl of lime in the summer. whether I'm going to be making, a cocktail with it, obviously a lime cooler, or even a ceviche or something. So that's good to pair with this nice cooler that we're going to be making. So really simple. I'm doing it for two, one for you, one for me. So I guess I'm going to have to FedEx it up to you, which they could, right?
Well, they probably could. In today's world, it probably could. Yes.
Yes. Well, speaking of today's world, I had my first experience while I was in San Francisco for meetings in a driverless car. That was quite an experience. I said I would never do it because it seemed so scary, but I got talked into it with a friend. And I have to tell you, it was a fun experience. I'll have to share that with you. So there is a future where, who knows, we will all have a driverless car.
Okay. Well, I guess it frees up both my hands to drink my tea, but I don't know. I'm not mentally there. Although, you know what? I think that I probably need to, as you did, I'm assuming, try it once and sort of mentally get past the block, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Well, that was my thing. I said, absolutely not. I would never. And here I found myself doing it, and it was quite an experience. But
good for you.
Anyway, on that note, it would be great if we had a driverless a tea tender, but it's going to be me. And I tried to prepare things a little ahead of time. It's a very simple recipe. But of course, as you talked, it's always nice to have a shaker on.
Oh, see, there you go. You're already ahead of me.
This is so great. I always kind of do something. So for the matcha lime cooler, which obviously we'll share the recipe with you, but I went ahead and I kind of squeezed my lime already.
Yeah.
Just one lime. Here, I pre-squeeze it. So you put that in the shaker. Very simple. Then it's a half cup of fresh mint, which I also prepared ahead of time. I'm going to put fresh mint leaves in the little shaker.
The whole.
And then, a little raw honey. Now, you can adjust it if you don't want honey, if you want a little bit, but this recipe does call for it, and it gives it a nice little, and it is natural. So I'm going to put a little raw honey in there. So I kind of did that. And that's about 2 teaspoons of raw honey. But again, you can do one.
Yeah, how you want.
Based on your preference.
Yeah.
So with that, you have to muddle it a little. I don't know if you have a muddler. I don't have it with me right now, but you kind of muddle. So you really kind of smash the leaves, break the little mint membranes in there.
Yeah.
God, it smells absolutely wonderful.
So for those of you that haven't tried raw honey before, you have to, because once you have raw honey, you can't go back to, that's my experience anyways. Once you've had raw honey, you cannot go back to regular. There's something lovely and creamy and unctuous, I find, about a raw honey that you don't get out of a regular. I had to drive for a site visit for the conference in Niagara yesterday. And so all the roadside farmers and everything were set up, and I stopped and I picked up some fresh raw honey.
Oh, how nice. Oh, it is. It really does make a difference. Yeah, treat yourself to that. So, I muddled it a little bit, and then we're going to add the matcha in there. So that's a teaspoon in the matcha. And again, I unsweetened matcha. I'm going to throw that in there. And quite frankly, if you want to add a lot of matcha, why not? And then a little, I'd say about a half a cup of water.
Okay.
It's in my little shaker.
Yep.
So I'm going to, and I'm going to put a couple cubes of ice in here, which I have.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So you don't whisk up your matcha first. You're gonna have it all done in your shaker. Yes.
Perfect. In fact, I did kind of sift it before, so there were no clumps. Just I don't want it clumpy, but this does the trick. So here's my shaker.
And for those of you watching, that's another really important tip, because sifting matcha, I find it's important just to get those clumps out and just get it through. But your shaker, obviously, as you said, is going to get that out. But
and it really enhances the flavor of the matcha. And just so you know, there's a thing called the Japan shake. Bartenders do this. I don't have it down. I need to go and maybe take a few lessons. But if you go online, you'll see it's called the Japanese shake.
The Japanese shake. Okay, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, I must tell you, it's really quite. They have competitions actually in this, so fun. Okay, so we mixed everything there, which is perfect. Then we have our glasses. All right,
yep.
Simple. Put some ice in there. So refreshing, I must tell you. I'm really excited. I mean, this sort of kicks off summer for me right now. So, okay.
I'm excited for you because you get to drink it.
Yes, I know. I'll have to FedEx something a little for you.
I'm going to make myself some as soon as we're done.
Okay. So this is half. I poured half. We have our other glass, but since I know time is of the essence here, what's great about this is then you top it off with a little sparkling water.
Oh, perfect.
It's like a little Pellegrino here.
Perfect, perfect.
Yeah, about a half of that. So you got that little bubbly. And a little stir. Oh God, it's so.
That might smell delicious.
Oh, it does. Wonderful. And then of course you have to have a little garnish. So it's nice to have a little sprig of mint. I don't know if you can see the little mint.
Yeah, I can.
And I kind of skewered a lime slice there. So you can throw that in there. So I am going to make a toast to you.
I love it.
Tea month. And we hope you'll enjoy the matcha mint cooler. I certainly am. May I, Shabnam?
I insist.
It's a toast.
A toast to you. So I love this so much. To me, you just that's like a matcha mojito that you just made.
Exactly. It is so, and I'm sure, in the summer, I know I have some mint in my garden, so you can just go out. It's a very simple recipe, and you could prepare ahead of time, obviously, if you have guests in a pitcher. Yeah. And then, of course, you can add a little spirits if you would like.
Well, this is it, right? Because if you think about it, what you just made is, as I said, it's a matcha mojito, right? Because the mojito is muddled lime and mint and brown sugar, but I mean, you can use whatever sweetener you want. And then cachaca, right? Which is the cane sugar rum. So, you can do the mocktail version of it, which is what you've done. Or if you say, do the adult version, your Friday evening.
Exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Boost. You're getting your little energy, your BCG, a little fiber, vitamin C.
Yes.
All good.
So as while I have you here, Rona, we've used matcha a lot in the past. Take a minute and tell everybody exactly what matcha is. It's green tea, we know, but what's the difference between matcha and the other green tea that we get?
So matcha is actually, imagine after harvesting, they dry the tea leaves and they make a tencha. So basically the stems, the veins are all removed. So you have the leafy part of that tea leaf. And then that is ground into a very fine powder. And so traditionally, matcha was used for tea ceremony. Today, obviously, there's been wonderful ways of incorporating matcha into your smoothies or into cooking and sauces and so forth. Even, we know matcha ice cream is hot. But the beauty about it is, whereas, green tea, you steep the tea leaves and you may discard the tea leaves. With the matcha, you actually ingest the entire vitality of that tea leaf. So it really, I call it sort of a, boost of nature right there. You just get the full benefits of that tea leaf. And it really has a very herbaceous, bold, very grassy, delicious taste. And it's very versatile. You can obviously use it in what we're doing, the cocktails here. And as I said, in, savory sauces. And there's different ranges of matcha too. There's, the ceremonial, very high grade. Then there also is the culinary matcha, and depending upon your use.
Yeah.
But I think that, so many people are discovering matcha.
Yeah.
But I would like to say, since we're talking iced tea, and this, Shabnam, I certainly have my little Itoen shirt, but,
Yes.
Itoen actually pioneered the first ready-to-drink green tea. So if you really are on the go and you really want just a pure, clean, refreshing green tea, don't want to fuss with, making tea, this is the way to go. Oyocha.
I was going to ask you to lean back and grab it, but you've got it in front of you.
I've got it right here. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's such a great product because it's such a clean taste. It tastes like tea.
Yes.
And that is so important. It is not a sugary beverage. And that is so, so, so important, which I love about your product.
Well, thank you very much. And, we obviously have it in cans. We also have our tea bags, the Oyocha tea bags. And this is great because it also can be cold brew and hot brew. And a lot of people never think to do cold brew. I travel with it.
Yeah.
But it's great. You can do a cold brew and make a nice summer punch even, and fruit in it. So very versatile. You
also have the individual matcha packs, which I think are genius. Oh, of course, she's got one there. They are fantastic to travel with.
Yes.
Because you just pop them in your bag and then you can do it hot. But what I love is, especially in conferences, I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a conference where I've had one and I'll take a bottle of water that they always give you and I'll put it in and shake it up.
Yeah, this is so convenient. It really is. And I actually, it fits right in my wallet.
Yeah.
So a tea bag and a little green tea, why not? So yes, I have to tell you, it's so great that we can offer so many different, we get the bottles, we have the tea bags, we have matcha. So, depending upon whatever you'd like to explore, we have it. So I hope everybody will enjoy a wonderful summer with the little minty, limey matcha cooler, which hopefully will keep you cool.
Well, yes, absolutely. But as I was saying to Stephen, all year round, because I think we need to start thinking, especially, you in the US, you guys are much, much better about your iced teas. But I think in the rest of the world, we need to also start thinking about this type of beverage as just a thirst quencher. It doesn't only have to be when it's hot outside. There's no reason why, if people drink juices and sodas in December, why not do an iced tea? There's no reason at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, I highly recommend incorporating, the green teas during holidays, because you want something that's clean, refreshing. And so, yes, it is year round. It isn't just a summer beverage, but, all seasons.
All seasons. Well, thank you, Miss Rona. It's always delightful to see you. Thank you.
And a shout out to, I hear Ron Sadler was on there as well.
I think he's still here. I'm not sure. He hasn't. If you're here, Ron, type a hello. But yeah, he was earlier. He wrote a hello in the chat. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Shabnam, for always including us.
Thanks,
Hope
Rona.
everybody enjoys, and happy iced tea month.
Happy iced tea month. Good to see you, Rona. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Shabnam.
Bye. All right. Some deliciousness. I may have shared this with you guys before, but funny that both Stephen and Rona used lime. I have a weird gene in me that, first of all, as I said, I'm obsessed with anything citrus. There's no such thing as too much lemon or lime in anything for me at all. I can eat a lemon whole with rind. And I have this weird gene that when I see lime or I see lemon or somebody talks about it, I get this tingly feeling right here inside of my mouth, right here at my cheeks. It's very, very bizarre. I've always had it. I start to salivate and it starts to get really tingly, even just looking at it, which is actually a good thing for me because I love it. So I am so pleased to introduce my third guest to you, a first timer on ICE TV, and that is Han Lee. Han founded Thés Guru in 2003 in Montreal, Quebec. He's also founder of the Tea Institute and Research and Development Center of Canada, co-founder of Oishi Matcha Bar and Espace Zen by Thés Guru. Han is a third-generation professional chef and is passionate about everything related to gastronomy and taste, and embraced his origins by specializing in tea. He studied tea in China and Japan with various masters, as well as with the Global Japanese Tea Institute. He's been working as a tea master according to authentic and ancestral traditions for more than 20 years. It is so lovely to meet you, Han. Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you.
So thank you so much for being here. Your first time on ICE TV. Very excited. You're in your shop, and your shop is in Montreal?
That's correct.
Beautiful, beautiful shop. You've got my favorite elements of tea shops, and that's all the gorgeous tins behind you. So tell us, how many teas do you have in your shop? How many teas do you sell?
Oh dear, we stopped counting after 500 tea. And,
oh my goodness!
Yeah, because I'm really passionate about it. So every tea that I come across that I find interesting, then if I like to drink it, I'll carry it, and then I will offer it to my customers.
Oh, okay. So this is your private tea stash, and you just happen to share it with everybody else.
I wouldn't call it private tea stash, but definitely if I cannot drink, I won't carry it for my customers. So I gotta like it, and I gotta like it a lot. Like this.
Perfect. Good. That's a good philosophy. So, Han, tell us, you're going to make a couple of beverages with matcha. Actually, all three have matcha in it, and also a hojisha and gyokuro. So, please, the floor is yours. You show us what you're making today. I'm really excited.
Awesome. Thank you. So, drinks are very easy to do and very quick. You need some couple of citrus juice, orange, grapefruit, or even a twist like pineapple. It's going to give this exotic taste. And so what you want to do is you're going to just use 1 gram of matcha, which is really much. But the matcha that you want to use is a pretty good one. I wouldn't say that it's the best of the ceremonial grade because they would go, at too much of a price. But basic cooking grade wouldn't really stand out neither. So us, what we carry is a premium grade. So this is entry line for ceremonial grade. Based on the producer's standard. But this Yame Premium Grade, actually in 2018, it won second place at the World Tea Union Award. So very affordable, yet very tasty.
Wonderful.
So what you want to do is you're going to put about half a cup of ice in a shaker.
Good. So you're using the shaker tip as well that I gave earlier. So you guys are ahead of me. That's great.
So ice first, the matcha on the ice so that it has bonding surface so that it doesn't just when you add the water, it would stick on the side of the shaker, then you will lose it. But now it's on the ice. Ooh,
good tip.
Like that. Yep. At which point you just want to add a little bit of water. You don't want too much. And of course, we add in some juice. You can do whatever cocktail you wish to have, as long as you have a good blend.
Okay, so you're doing orange and grapefruit?
Yeah, why not? It's more fun because otherwise it's too obvious, so it would be boring, right? And you can really play around on a daily basis, whatever you want to put. And then an ounce of sugar, simple syrup.
Okay.
You don't want it too sweet, but you definitively want to give it that little sweet and sour taste.
Nice.
And then we can add just a little bit more ice in the cup The one that's in the shaker, partly melted. And then lastly, you're gonna pour it through the spoon so that your matcha doesn't mix it all over with your juice.
Okay, so you're going to have a layered look. I love it.
And then at the end, when the consumer drink it, that's when they stir it up with a straw.
Mm. Oh, this is going to look gorgeous. That's a really, really good tip. I love that. So for those of you watching, that's an excellent tip to get a nice layered look. Perfect.
And me, what I like is that I like to add the little ice inside at the end because it's a little bit foamy. So it'll give that look of freshness to it.
Gorgeous.
Just a few bubbles. And then lastly,
Gorgeous.
top it off with a little citrus. And you got a very quick but refreshing matcha iced tea lemonade.
Beautiful. I love that. So refreshing and so delicious. Wonderful. Okay, what else are you making for us?
Next is gonna be hojicha matcha. So hojicha matcha basically is roasted green tea that is grinded into a powder like matcha. Traditionally, it's not something that is meant to drink in a ceremonial style, such as straight up. It's really meant to make drinks like latte, frappe, or iced tea. So among the hojicha matcha that we carry, the one that is the most popular and I recommend is the one from Miyazaki. It has very like between roasted, chocolatey, nutty taste. So it's really very complex. So it's fun.
Great. Okay.
So first is again, you're gonna need to put a little bit of ice this time. And then there's something called amazake. So amazake basically is it's a fermented rice. Like that's the base to make the there you go. Fermented rice to make sake. So
Okay.
as it ferments, sweetness to it, but of like alcohol taste, but it doesn't reach alcohol level.
Okay.
And sweetness out of the fermentation. When you use this to make a drink with the hojicha, actually it's gonna give you a banana chocolate taste drink. It's very, very interesting and original.
So Han, for those people that are watching, Han, for those that are watching, where can you get that, or did you make it?
Most Japanese market will carry it.
Okay. Okay.
But for alcoholized version, you can replace this fully with any sake, and you will have the same result. So whenever we do event, alcohol, that's what we use.
Okay. Perfect. Okay.
And again, same process, ice in the shaker.
No, I think we've lost the feed. Han, your feed is frozen. Hello? No, I think we've lost Han's connection. We're so excited to see this one too. Han, are you there? Oh goodness. This is what happens when you've got live TV, and that, I'm afraid, sometimes happens. Han, are you there? Hello, hello. Oh, hello. Are you there? We lost you. No, I see you now, but I can't hear you. No sound. No sound. No. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. No, I'm afraid not. Oh, this is frustrating. Oh, okay. I think he's going to try to go out and come back in again. But you know what? That's what happens, as I said, with live TV. Hey ho. We got some delicious recipes. I think what we're going to do is, well, I'm going to talk for a little bit, and if Han comes back on, great. If not, we will. Oh, there he is. Hang on. Let's see if I can get him back on. Hi, are you there?
Hi.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm good.
Go on. Yep, good. Go ahead.
Awesome. So, ice.
Yep.
And then the matcha on top of the ice so that it bonds. Very important thing is that sometimes we use a gram or two for a matcha drink.
Yes.
But for Hoji's matcha, it's always 1 gram because the taste is much stronger. So if you were to do 2 grams, it would taste too odd, too exotic.
Okay, too much.
1 gram.
All right, interesting. Okay, so be careful.
250 ml of water. And of course, a little bit of sugar.
Sweeten it, great. And a simple syrup, for those of you that are watching, is just equal parts water and sugar on the stove, and just let the sugar melt. That's it, easy. And then the spoon trick is just going to make sure that he's layering the tea on top so it's not mixing all up. So it's got a lovely layer. It's a really nice way of making drinks. Perfect. Look at that rich dark color. And then some of the foam and ice. Wonderful. Oh, look at that.
Foam gives that refreshing taste.
Yep.
Because basically foam is oxygen inside. So when you drink, it's going to be much more refreshing.
Perfect.
And then, of course, when it's time to drink, stir it up. So this would be more Japanese traditional because in Japan, they do drink a lot of amazake and different style. So this would really fit their style. And if you like bubble tea, well, this is more healthy. You eat a little bit of the rice, but it feels like a sweetness to it.
Okay.
So it's fun. Great.
I love that. Okay, so this one I've never seen before. So I'm definitely going to go to the Japanese market and buy some of that. Or as you said, if I want to, I can replace it with sake if I want an alcoholic version, right?
Exactly. So it will really give you this exotic taste of cocoa crossed with banana. It's like really fun.
That's amazing. Okay, perfect. And you've got one more for us.
Exactly. So this last one is quite special. So matcha is matcha. It's very sweet, creamy, umami, refreshing. But we also do it with the gyokuro leaf.
Yep.
So instant tea bag is practical, but most of the time it's not that great. Like it lacks deepness, it lacks quality because it's just tea dust or leftover. So we had too much demand due to our standard to produce some good tea bags. That in the end we decided, you know what? Let's do gyokuro, which is a similar type of tea processing as matcha. So very fresh, umami, creamy type of tea, and combined with matcha inside a tea bag. So now you have top quality premium luxury tea
Perfect.
bag.
Yeah.
Instead of buying, like a bottle of iced tea everywhere in the world is $1.50 to $3. Now you can produce yourself a really outstanding.
Wonderful. Yeah. And for those watching, gyokuro is a shade-grown tea. Several weeks before the leaves are picked, the entire crop is covered with a black curtain. What that does is it slows down photosynthesis and it increases the chlorophyll content in the leaves. So it is really beautiful.
Exactly. When you reduce the sunlight on the tea trees, basically you're going to create more L-theanine, more umami, so that the taste is much more deep, rich, and less bitter. And then the sweetness of the tea can come out better. Now, what you need to understand is that when you make cold brew iced tea with whole leaf, the idea is actually not to use like full cold water. It won't bring out the rich flavor. It has to be around 40 degrees at least, so that the umami comes out better. So we just start off with like 50 ml of warm water.
Right.
We can shake it a bit just to really activate the leaf.
Okay. Oh, look at that gorgeous color already. Yeah.
And then after a couple of seconds, you can start to add the ice and the cold water.
Okay. So very quick.
Yeah. Because the matcha allows your tea to the taste of the tea to come out much faster than if you had to wait for the whole leaf. But at the same time, if you did this with pure matcha powder, it would be too intense. And somebody like me who drinks matcha all day long, I get fed up with it. So it's preferable to blend it with something else, such as gyokuro leaf. Then you really have something fun. So again.
Perfect. Lovely. Yeah.
Then if you let it sit for like a minute or two, then the green, the richness will enhance more. But even right now, it works fine.
Such a gorgeous color, huh?
It is. When you combine just enough matcha with good tea leaf, you have this. And
gorgeous. And I love that you used a wine glass. I talk about that all the time. We have to celebrate tea, and there's no reason why you can't use champagne flutes or coupes or wine glasses. Celebrate it in a beautiful way, especially when you've got such a premium product.
Exactly. This is my Sunday brunch drinks before the actual alcohol in the afternoon.
Well, I have to come to your house for Sunday brunch then. Well, it's absolutely been delightful to have you here, Han. Thank you so much for sharing your gorgeous recipes with us. Recipes will be available online to all of you, so don't worry about that. You don't have to take notes frantically. So, Han, your shop is in Montreal, and you have a website, right? So people can find you online as well?
Exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, à votre santé. Enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us, Han. I hope that you'll come back and share some delicious recipes again with us.
Sure.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Well, what gorgeous recipes. And hello to Virginia Beach, and hello to Desert Sage, Florida, and Hello to Germany. I know you in Germany. I think you are Tristan in Germany. Hello, 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 meine Liebe. And I hope that you took some notes and are going to make some of these gorgeous recipes. So, wonderful, wonderful stuff. The matcha ones I think are really, really interesting because, you know, as Rona said, you know, matcha is so versatile. And that's the beauty of matcha, is that it can be used in so many different ways. And you just saw it used in completely different ways by by Rona, as well as by Han. And then Stephen with his gorgeous fruity flavors, herbal flavors that I think are fantastic for kids. You're controlling the sugar. You know that there aren't, you know, you're not providing something full of preservatives and all the ick that unfortunately is in a lot of, you know, sugary carbonated beverages. Don't forget that you can, of course, make it carbonated if you want to. If you have a soda stream, hello to Sri Lanka. Oh my goodness, we have a really international group here today. Thank you for joining. If you have a soda stream at home, and so many people have these soda streams at home, there is no reason at all that you can't make that iced tea that Stephen made, for example, where he prepared it and put it in the fridge, and then pour that into your soda stream to get a carbonated iced tea. So, you know, think of these things. There are so many different ways of incorporating some delicious and, most important, healthy flavors into your everyday thirst quenchers. And that's what I'm calling them from now on, thirst quenchers. So I hope you've enjoyed our first episode of Ice TV in 2024. The sun is now fully out and shining, which only means that I now have to get up and go make myself one of these gorgeous recipes. I hope to see you all next week for more wonderful recipes, more fabulous ideas. And until then, I hope that you all have a chance to try some of these great recipes. See you all next week.